Well, hello, lovely humans, and welcome to another installment of Thanksgiving week, where I take you through all the recipes that I make for Thanksgiving that I've been doing for the last, I don't even know how many years, okay? I think I've been making the mashed potatoes from the last video for like over a decade now. They're that good. They are that good, y'all. And of course, all the recipes, serving sizes, and cooking schedule can be found in the Thanksgiving meal planner that I will have linked right up here. It's super cute. I just want to show you a couple clips of what this looks like. You're gonna die. The font, the branding, so delicious. In today's video, also, hi, my name is jamiewolfer if you're new here. This is my little lifestyle content corner of the interwebs, and I get real excited about hosting. I'm a wedding planner by trade. In fact, that's what I kind of do mostly here on YouTube is wedding planning stuff. That entire career stemmed from a love of hosting in general. So when I get the opportunity to host friends and family in my home and cook for them, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm not going to be serving your regular Boston market style sides. Although no shade to their cream spinach, because that stuff is delicious. So in today's video, we are going to be cooking 3 classic sides. The dressing, I got it right this time from the start, and that's the bread stuff that people can either put inside the bird, and then it's called stuffing, or if you cook it in a tray by itself, then it's called dressing. It's very confusing. Good luck, non-native speakers. I don't understand. So I usually just call it stuffing. A delicious no-can soup green bean casserole, and from scratch, cranberry sauce. I'm telling you guys, just making those little minor updates and stepping away from the canned stuff and like making it yourself, the results are impeccable. And as luck would have it, I actually have Friendsgiving this weekend, so the timing is also impeccable. Any hoodles, if you're into cooking or hosting or having fun in your own home, jump on down there, hit subscribe, and hang out. And without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. On the menu today, as you already saw, would be the dressing, the green bean casserole that has no cream of mushroom or cream of anything kind of soup, and a zesty cranberry sauce. I actually already have some cubed dried sourdough on hand that I'm going to be using for this recipe. I have them cut down into like, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 size pieces. And because for our Friendsgiving, we're serving quite a large group, I'm going to be doing a little bit more than the recipe calls for. So this is about just over 1.5 pounds of dried bread. But for the most part, I'm going to keep most of the other measurements the same, except for maybe a little bit more stock later. 1/2 cup of salted butter, about this much celery. The recipe says 3 large stalks. You follow your heart. And then like a medium-sized onion, both of those diced up. And for this dressing, I'm going herbal. I'm going heavily herbal. I'm actually going a little off script too by not only adding thyme and sage, but a little bit of rosemary because I had it on hand. The recipe calls for 1 pound of breakfast sausage, but I picked up this sage sausage instead. And of course, some gorgeous farm fresh eggs to help bind it all together. Look at those speckles. Naturally, don't forget some S&P to taste. And as a reminder, as you are chopping your celery and your onions, be sure to save all of those end pieces, all of the skins, and the heart of the celery. Set it aside, toss it in your freezer bag for when you make your scrap stock later. Now let's pretend that I didn't have bread ready. This is what I would do. Find an old loaf and use every single core muscle possible to cut off a single slice. And then slice it into strips, and then cube it up until you get something that looks a little bit like this. Toss it on a baking sheet in the oven at 300, and watch closely until it's all dried out and croutony. We're back at it with my well-seasoned cast iron. I'm going to go ahead and get that heated up to cook the sausage on, and while that's happening, I'm going to prep my herbs. Honestly, my least favorite fresh herb to work with is thyme. It just feels like it takes so much time. I couldn't leave that low-hanging fruit, guys, to get all the little leaves off the stems. But as we do with so many scraps in this kitchen, we're going to toss those stems into the bowl that we're tossing into the scrap stock stuff, because waste not, want not. Now the pan is hot enough to start browning the sausage. So I'm gonna get that tossed in there and continue to chop up the rest of my herbs. I love the idea of using fresh herbs in this. Not only does my kitchen smell amazing, but I feel like fresh herbs, if you're scared to try them, take the leap, friend. It takes your dish to Flavor Town. Can I say that, or is that trademarked? I actually forgot to mention that you use some sort of broth in this one. I'm using beef broth because turkey, chicken, etc. And I'm going to use a little bit of this to deglaze the pan, get up some of those crispy bits that have kind of cooked onto my totally non-stick pan. It's well seasoned. Don't worry about it. And then because we're already here at Flavor Town, I'm going to scoop out the ground sausage, add in a little bit of butter because the pan's looking a little dry, and saute my onions and celery until they're soft, usually about, 5-7 minutes. What does the recipe say? Read that. While I've got my veg sweating, I'm going to go ahead and crack my eggs into a separate container because we found a couple of duds. We learned our lesson after an entire recipe was ruined by a single semi-rotten egg. And whisk in the rest of my broth. Now I'm going to toss in that whole stick of butter and let it melt. This one was actually from the freezer, so it took a little bit longer. And toss in those fresh herbs to kind of infuse with the butter. And oh my goodness, I wish you could smell this kitchen right now. It's insane. And it's super, super important to season at this stage. In fact, don't go light on the seasoning. Even though it seems like a lot for the liquid in front of you, you're going to want to make sure that you're seasoning not only for that liquid, but for the broth mixture we just made and for the bread. So if you taste test this at this point and it doesn't taste super powerful, knock your socks off, Flavortown verified, then you probably didn't do enough. Now I'm going to scoop all of my ingredients, the sausage, the herb butter, veg mix into that broth bowl with the eggs and get ready to pour that over the top of our bread. Because I actually have more like 1.5 pounds of cubed bread, I ended up doing a 10 by 14-ish instead of a 9 by 13 just to make a little bit more room for it. And I'm just going to slightly stir and press the sausage and the mixture so it's not all at the top, but more embedded in between the bread pieces. And here's what it looks like fully cooked after being in the oven for 25 minutes with foil on and 25 minutes with the foil off. I'm super excited. This is a great thing that you can make ahead because I'm just going to toss it back in the oven before the friends get here in a couple of days, and it's going to be perfect. Now it's time for the green beans. I'm lazy. I got the wash and trimmed one, so I didn't have to worry about it. Get you a medium-sized onion, another stick of butter, about a third cup, I couldn't find the third cup, of flour. I do all-purpose. I did goat's milk. Do whatever milk makes you happy. Of course, some more garlic, and my sneaky secret ingredient whenever it comes to a roux or a white sauce, white pepper and ground nutmeg. That was not on the recipe, okay? That's an Easter egg for you. And some S&P to taste. Now, this might be controversial, but I'm going straight back into the pan that I cooked the sausage and the butter in for the stuffing. Because even if there's like a little bit of sage or whatever left over, I don't want to lose that flavor. I worked hard. I sweated over this dish in a very sanitary way. So I'm going to put some butter and the onions back into it and keep building up that flavor profile. Once I have the water boiling, I'm going to dump in my not quite 2 pounds of green beans because apparently these are only 12 ounces. Whoops. And once my onions have sweated down enough, get that garlic in there and cook until fragrant. So usually about 30, 60 seconds. Sometimes I go a little bit longer. I don't know. Go where the vibe takes you. And oh my gosh, look, another stick of butter. Don't act like you're surprised. And now it's time to actually build the roux. So we're taking that all-purpose flour, shaking it over the top of the butter, and whisking it together until we kind of get like a paste. This is exactly what we're looking for here. This is how we're going to build up that thick, creamy texture that you get in green bean casserole that usually comes from the cream of mushroom or cream of chicken, etc. kind of soup. And add in your seasonings. I also will, if I feel like I haven't added enough, once I've added the cream or the milk, taste test and add more afterwards, which I definitely ended up doing with this one. To ensure you don't get any lumps, you kind of want to slowly ease your way into the milk situation as you're pouring it in, because otherwise it could, like the roux mixture could kind of clump up and not want to mix with the newcomer. So just, kind of work yourself into it, and then at a certain point you realize that you're over it and you just pour the entire jar in and hope for the best. And you can't tell if it's a clump or if it's onions. And you know what? You might not be able to tell with your eyeballs, but your guests can tell with their mouths. You're welcome. Look how thick this cream sauce ended up getting. And also, have you ever held up a cast iron pan by yourself to try to get a thick cream sauce out of it? It's really hard. I definitely got my workout in today by cutting the bread and pouring things out of a cast iron. This is not going to look pretty, okay? I everything in me wanted to straighten all of the green beans to make them look nice. And I'm going to break your hearts a little bit here. I'm not baking this right now. If I bake it, I'm worried it's going to be overcooked by the time I try to serve it to my friends. So you're going to want to bake it for about 15 minutes, then put the fried onions on it, and then bake it for another 15 minutes. But I'm not doing that today, so just know that that's what you're supposed to do. And now for the zesty cranberry sauce. I don't know why I titled it that. I'm going with fresh cranberries, y'all. I know this is very divisive. I know there are people that really like the canned one, and that's okay, more power to you. But when I tried making this from scratch, I'm telling you, I'm not going back. You're gonna go with half white sugar, half light brown sugar, orange juice with a warning label from one of your kids to save it for your actual cooking video, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of some sort of orange liqueur if you got it. You can leave it out if you don't want it, but I just love how extra zesty it makes it. Over medium heat, you're gonna wanna heat up however many, of course, I'm doubling the recipe here. But for the original recipe, it's about a cup of orange juice. And then dissolve both sugars into it. Just slowly stirring every once in a while to make sure they're dissolving. Remember, with brown sugar, we want packed brown sugar, so feel free to press that bad boy down. With cane sugar or white sugar, it kind of settles itself. So you don't need to give it the same smackdown treatment. Once all the sugar is dissolved, it is time to add your cranberries. Look how gorgeous they are. This is so beautiful. And I will say the recipe says to cook for about 10 minutes, but if you're doubling the recipe, it will take a little bit longer. And if you want to show off your gorgeous cranberries to the camera, make sure to hold it with 2 hands. Otherwise, you're feeding your dogs an extra treat they were not ready for, but they are happy to receive. Yep, and now everything is sticky. All of it. Any noodles, you can pour it into a serving dish or into a dish of your choice and toss on a little bit of salt and just the tiniest splash of some sort of orange liqueur. See, that was barely anything. And I'm telling you, the salt really elevates it. There's something a little bit magical about that orange liqueur. Oh, snap.
What?
Whoo!
Wait,
Try this.
Is it hot?
No, I mean, it's warm, but it's not too hot.
Oh, that's good. That's delicious. Let's roll up. Try some of this.
So I know technically I didn't complete all 3 dishes, but I think you guys are going to go ahead and give me a pass on this one, right? Right? Because I don't want to waste the fried onions. They're too good to waste. But you get the concept. You just toss it in the oven and it'll be great. It'll be totally fine. And if you download the Thanksgiving meal planner, again, I'll link it right here, or it'll be down in the description box if you want to snag it when the video is over. It'll have all the recipes set and ready to go, portioned out for 8 people. You are so welcome. Also, I'm really happy that I did it because now I have it printed out and I can use it every time I'm cooking one of these meals. And let me tell you, this meal planner, she's real easy on the eyes. So that's what we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe because tomorrow, finally, the long-awaited turkey video is coming out. And until next time, bye, guys.